And I believe we are live. We are live. Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 24, I think it is. Episode 24 of the Security Dog Handler Q&A/talk. For guys that are coming in for the first time, this is a chance to put some questions out. There'll be a Q&A. There'll be people in the chat that can answer the questions as much as I can. I'm the host / answer the questions, but there are going to be people that can maybe give other answers as well. Episode 24 coming up to, well, what are we? Probably 3 weeks short of doing a year worth of lives, ranging from the first one, me in Bulgaria. Coop, going to leave that, mate. Ranging from the first one in Bulgaria, where I just sat there, done a live, no one turned up, to the lives that we have now, where we have regular people in, and you've got to start somewhere, right? So started off doing it and no one turning up, a bit like throwing a birthday party and no one turning up, to now having a core amount of people that look forward to the lives, etc. So yeah, episode 24. I have got the main man sitting next to me because at some point in this, I'm gonna show you the treats that I picked up. So today I went to the pet store and got his month's worth of treats. And I thought at some point I will just do like an unbagging and show what I get. So there's lots of different things that I get. Some that are for like training and like day-to-day treats. And then there are more, and then I've got some more that are like some special treats. So at some point in this video, I will do sort of like an unbagging. Do we call that? I think that's the viral term of unbagging. And showing you some of the treats that I picked up today. I spent 60 quid, I think it was. So yeah, there's a decent amount of treats there, and like I say, at some point I'll do that. Chip King, hi mate, how you doing? How you doing, mate? I've had such a busy. Well, no, that's the wrong way to put this. I've had a busy week for me. I am trying to get ahead with videos due to a holiday coming up. So I've had training footage for a couple of weeks, and then this week I'm trying to integrate training footage with some on-site stuff. So I've been doing a video more or less every day this week. So recording the on-site stuff, editing, making sure I'll get it up on YouTube ready for the week. So I've got 3 videos in the pipeline. We'll talk about them a little bit later, but I've got three videos in the pipeline for July. I still need to do another 2 to make sure that July is fully done. So yeah, it's been a busy week for me. I went training today, so if I look tired, it's because I am, because I got back here about 1:30, which is 23 and a half hours since I woke up yesterday. So so I was up for 24 hours, and then I woke up about 5:30. So I'm functioning on about 3.5 hours sleep. So if I look tired, it's because I am. But training was good today. Again, at some point I'll get into talking about the training session that we had today, because there's lots of different little bits that we done. Always running along the same lines, like running on the same lines as patrol, but done it differently. Article search, but done it differently. I didn't film any today because I've got so many training footage videos coming up. Unless we done something that was drastically different, I wasn't going to film today, and I was just going to enjoy the training session. Although I still can enjoy, I can still enjoy training sessions when I film them. I'm also conscious about making sure I get the camera ready, make sure the camera. So sometimes when I'm filming at training, I do enjoy it, but I'm always thinking about the video side alongside sort of the training. So it's quite nice to do a training session today without the camera, where I could just fully immerse myself into doing that. Not saying that when I do training sessions with the camera, I'm not concentrating on what I'm doing. I am, but the preparation before doing a patrol or the preparation before doing some article search is I'm setting up the camera, I'm thinking about the camera, things like that. So yeah, at some point in this as well, I'll talk about training session today because it was a really good session it's one of them sessions that I wish that aspiring handlers were at, because we done different things. The conversations that we had in between all the different things that we was doing was really good. There was 4 of us there. Now the other 3 are much more experienced than I am, but we could bounce ideas off each other. We spoke a little bit about different things and maybe how to get around certain things that can happen on site. So yeah, it was really good. Like I say, I've just had a busy week doing my shifts as well. I've obviously completed all my shifts this week. Now coming into the weekend, it's a little bit of a chance just to kick back, chill out. The dog's absolutely knackered. So yeah, he's got to go. He's going in the shower later tonight as well. He doesn't know that yet, but he'll be going in the shower later tonight as well. So yeah, if you've got any questions or anything you want to talk about, just in the chat, you can ask your questions. It doesn't have to be specifically dog handling. This is a chance to even talk about other stuff. Obviously, dog handling is what the channel's about, but I think these lives are good to strip away being a dog handler and just having chats as normal people, as normal civilians as well. So if you've got any questions about anything, if I feel comfortable, then obviously I'll answer it. If I don't, then maybe I'll just miss it. Why don't I keep air bunnying? So yeah, I hope everyone is good. A groundbreaking day is that I have remembered to put the Discord link in the description of this video before I started it. Normally halfway through I realised I haven't done it, but there is a link to the Discord in the description of this video. Again, this week Discord's been reasonably quiet compared to what it normally is, but there's still people chiming in and having some good conversations. What's been going on the last couple of weeks? So I've had a couple of videos out, obviously, over the last couple of weeks. One was the obedience protection. So that was trying to explain that protection work is obedience. It's about the dog being told to do a job and doing it, and being able to control an out through obedience and different things like that. I think that video is important in a world of clickbait, big hits, and viral kind of videos. Now, that video is never going to be a viral video because it's not got really big hits. The trainer does get the dog to go in, but it's not like massive hits. And I think that's one of the things about my channel is it's never going to really be a viral video. I think the only chance I've really got of getting like a viral video is if something happens on site and the dog ends up biting. Now, I would probably edit that so that it's not, so you get to see the interaction, but maybe not so much the blood side of it, if that was to happen. Touch wood, it doesn't. But I think that video of protection obedience is important for people to understand what real security dog handling is like. The big hits, the viral videos is not what security dog handling is all about. And I think that's an important thing to get out is that what you watch on YouTube with the big hits and the sport kind of dogs is not real life security dog handling. So yeah, I think that's important just for people to understand that it's not about having a dog that wants to kill everyone and wants to rip everyone's arms off. It is about a dog being obedient enough to be able to send in to do a job, being able to get the dog to out, because the dog then understands that the fight is over. So yeah, I think that was an important video. I think that was a decent one. Obviously, my trainer allowed me to film that and to be able to post it out, where I think a lot of trainers, I think I'm going to possibly have this issue when my trainer decides to retire, is that he I don't know whether my next trainer is going to allow me to film the way that I do. I think there are a lot of trainers that won't allow so much videoing of their training sessions because they're worried about people watching it and about people commenting on it. My trainer is very open and he believes in what he does and he believes in the training style that he does. So he's happy for people to see it. And I think it got a decent reaction. Like the views were pretty decent, the likes are good, etc. So there's not been any backlash. There's not been too many people with hysteria, and there's not been anyone commenting on that saying that the dog's not aggressive enough or anything like that. So yeah, I feel like that was a decent video. And then also that came out was the Pause for Security episode 2, which was the episode where I got a new co-host. I think that went down very well as well. The views have been good on that. There was some good comments on that as well. Like I say, I think the Pause for Security is going to be something decent and something to build on. I think it's quite hard to expect a lot of people to sit down and watch or listen to something for 45 minutes. So I think it is a work in progress, but I think once people buy into what it is and you get into a bit of a rhythm, I feel like that could be something that's going to be quite beneficial. Maybe not now, but maybe later on. The same as these lives. When I first started doing the lives, there wasn't that much interest in it, and even once the live stream had finished, the views wasn't really there. But I feel like persisting with it and persisting through only having a couple of people on, or persisting through not that many people interacting in the chat, etc. If you persist through that and people then start buying into it, and then they start watching it, the live stream after it's finished, and then you start getting people coming into the live stream and things like that. I feel like that Pause for Security will get the interaction or more interaction the more we do. And like I say, I think it's good to have two sides of an opinion. A lot of obviously these lives that I do and a lot of my videos is obviously my personal opinion and the way that I put stuff over, but it's not always the same way as someone else sees it. There are people that see it in a different way, and I think it's important to hear that different way. So yeah, I think that Pause for Security, I think that was good. Obviously got the new co-host, which a lot of you will know now, which was UK Security 101, who hasn't been seen on my channel since I'd done the interview with him, which I think the interview went down very, very well. I think a lot of you guys enjoyed that. UK Security 101 is a solid guy, very knowledgeable about equipment and about the law. So I think with the next episodes, there's going to be like maybe an equipment special episode. There may be like a law special episode. But yeah, I think it's important to know with that Pause for Security as well is that I'm not the host. We are going to be co-hosts, and I kind of led the episode 2. And on episode 3, I'm going to offer to UK Security 101 to take the lead on that and come up with his kind of subjects. The subjects that were in that episode 2 were ones that I came up with, and I sent over to him and said, look, these are the sort of the base questions that I want to get through. Yes, we will go off and talk about other things, but these are the base questions that we'll talk about in episode 2. And I will offer to him in episode 3 and say, look, here you go, you give me maybe 3 or 4 bullet points of things you want to go over, and maybe it will be equipment based, maybe it will be law based, etc. So yeah, like I say, I think persisting with that Pause for Security is going to be beneficial the same way these lives were, and people will buy into it into the end. Like I say, it's hard to get someone to sit down and watch or listen to something for 45 minutes, but I feel like if you put out enough good information that people will find that as a place to go and listen to stuff. So yeah, they're the last two videos, the protection obedience and the pause for security. Not say I feel like them videos have gone down really well. I feel like they was decent videos. So yeah, that's pretty much all to say about the last ones. Chip King, Terry has been saying he's going to retire for the last 10 years. Yeah, he says, he keeps saying that it's going to be the last year. It's going to be the last year. I'm pretty sure during COVID he said that he wasn't going to be doing training once COVID was over, and yet here we are. So I think whilst Terry is still getting a kick out of it, and people are still turning up to his training, I feel like he's always going to do it. Because I don't know if he really knows what to do with himself once he stops that. He won't know what to do on a Tuesday and Friday morning. So yeah, like I say, Terry does keep saying, but then again, Terry is getting to the age where he's fully in his right to stop training. And like I say, it's going to be interesting for me that once I don't have a consistent trainer, about finding a trainer that will allow me to do the film and the footage the way in which I do it. I think the good thing is that I've got a decent catalogue of my videos now in terms of training footage and that, and I can show that to my next trainer and say, look, this is what I do, this is the kind of footage that I show, and I can send them videos to my next trainer and say, look, this is what I do. Are you happy for me to do this? And if they say, no, I'm not, then I'll possibly have to find another trainer and find one until I find a trainer that wants to be promoted on my channel, or someone who believes in their training style enough that they're happy for me to do it. I think that's the main thing, is that the trainer has to be happy and positive with the way in which they train, that they want people to be able to view it online. But I feel like they need to trust me that I'm not going to stitch them up. I think that's probably a lot of the issue that maybe some trainers have. Why some trainers don't allow people to video training is that they don't have the trust in the person that they won't stitch them up. So yeah, I think that's probably one of the positives. I think that's one of the positives of me documenting my training and documenting each video, is that when I come to needing a trainer next time, I can send them a video and say, look, this is what I do. Are you happy for me to do it? And they can tell me before I turn up if they're happy. So Terry, 82 years. Is that how long he's been saying he's going to retire? 82 years. But yeah, like I say, it's going to be interesting. The time will come at some point, but I feel like if I can get a decent enough following and with a decent enough interaction, people will start to see the plus side of it. I think if you are going to do the training footage videos the way in which I do it, I feel you need to, in order for it to come over the right way, you need to kind of do it the way that I do, kind of explain, have the training footage, but also give an explanation to why you was doing it, why, the reasons that you do it, the reasons that it went well, the reasons that maybe something went wrong. So you can't, I feel like if you put up the training footage with no context, sometimes that is where it can be turned around, where I feel like with the videos that I do, where I explain why we're doing it, what the aim of the training, that training session was, I feel like that's the way in which you make sure that nothing gets turned around the wrong way. And like I say, with editing, if you say the wrong thing, obviously you can correct yourself in an edit. So like I say, it's going to be interesting. I think training's a big part, and I feel like being able to watch someone go through proper security dog training, I feel like is very important, so that it's not all the big hits and all of the viral kind of videos are the only videos that people get to see. I think it's important that people get to see a standard, average, normal, well-trained security dog session, in order for people to get a real grip on what it's like. So has anyone got anything to say, any questions to ask in the comments? the top chat or the chat, whatever it is. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Has anyone had anything happen on site? I had. There was a bit of a rave going on around the corner from my site on Tuesday, I think it was, and a spill out of that didn't come to my site, but it was around my site. There was a point where there was a car in the entrance to the main gate, and from what I can tell and from what I could see as I was walking down, I think it was just maybe some kids that were finding somewhere to have a smoke or whatever it was. And it was just one of them where I just went down and I just rattled the padlock in the chain. And they looked through their rearview mirror or they looked over the back seats to see me with the dog turning around, walking the other way. But that rattling of the chain and the padlock was A, to make sure that no one had tampered with it, and B, just to let them know that I was there. And within 30 seconds, they'd moved and gone 50 yards down the road into another pudding. So, like I say, I don't think it was so much. I don't think it's so much that they was stalking the place out. I think they just was trying to find somewhere to maybe have a smoke, and found that place because it's a level, decent little place to put in. But once they realised I was there, they just moved on. Then later that night, there around 11 o'clock, there was someone flying up and down the lane, wheels spinning around, but outside my site on the road. So there was no point in me trying to get involved with that. But yeah, it was strange that there was because I would say this place was a good 500 yards from my site, and I could hear the music as if my radio was on. And this was on a Tuesday until about midnight, so quite strange day and time to have a rave up until. But it may have been one of the kids had a free house and decided to throw a bit of a party. But yeah, Towering Dock. If the Queen's Guard service offered you and the dog a mission with them, would you do it? I think I would have a conversation with them and find out what. It obviously all depend on what it is, and I think it would depend on whether I believed Cooper was capable of doing it. Now, I think you need to anything that you get given, you need to assess: A, are you capable of doing it? B, is it worth your time doing it? And C, is the dog capable of doing it? Now there is a video coming out in a few weeks. Good, can leave that, mate. There is a video coming out in a few weeks of me not at my normal site, me at another site. And funnily enough, you should say about the Queen is I do mention about looking after the Queen, and I will. This is a massive spoiler, and I think a lot of you won't be surprised. This is a massive spoiler. The Queen isn't in my video, but I do speak about like a list. And I do speak about looking after the Queen, looking after Buckingham Palace, and looking after things like that. So I think if the opportunity came up and I felt I was capable of doing it, I felt like the dog was capable of doing the job. I wouldn't want to go and do a job like that and the dog not be capable of doing it. Or I mean, let's say with the Queen's Guard. Let's say they asked me and they just wanted me and the dog to stand in one spot for 3 hours. I know my dog is not capable of doing that. I know that my dog will not sit somewhere for 3 hours. So it all depends on what it would be. Like I say, if I felt I could do it, if I felt the dog could do it, and I felt like it was a decent job or something to have on my list of things that I've done, then yeah, absolutely. But like I say, it would all depend on what it was and whether I felt people were capable. I wouldn't want to do it. I wouldn't want to do the job just for a YouTube video and then cock it up. So it wouldn't be something that I would do just so that I could make a YouTube video about it. I kind of respect the Queen's Guard, and I respect security dog handling enough that I wouldn't just do something just for a YouTube video. So I think it'd be interesting, and I think the more I'm not saying that this would be. I'm not saying that I would get the opportunity to do something with the Queen's Guard, but I think the more that maybe my channel grows and maybe more interesting that people take in it, some stuff like that may come my way. But I would always weigh it up to, am I just doing this? Would I just be doing this for a YouTube video to try and get more people to subscribe, or am I doing this because it's beneficial to the channel, beneficial to the people that are watching it, beneficial to security dog handlers, and beneficial to the security dog industry. The worst thing that you can do is, like I say, the worst thing you can do is do it just for a YouTube video, come across the wrong way, mess it up, and then your name gets a little bit tarnished. The security dog industry gets a little bit tarnished. So yeah, I think that's my I'd say that's my final stance on it. Is that if I felt it was beneficial and I wasn't just doing it for a YouTube video, then yes, absolutely. But yeah, in what are we now? Friday. So in 3 Saturdays' time, there will be the one-off video, which I do mention about that kind of stuff. So if you want to talk through the next sort of 3 weeks of videos, because they're the ones that I've got edited, uploaded, and scheduled for their time. So tomorrow there will be an article search video. Now, a lot of you guys would have seen me talk about article search work. It's not glamorous, it's not viral videos, but it is very impressive when it's done correctly. It's very impressive and a very much underrated skill. I've said this many times. Article search work is a massively underrated skill, and something that maybe some trainers, maybe some handlers don't take seriously enough. So tomorrow there will be an article search video. That is me doing article search training. There is footage of me doing article search at training. So there's actually training footage, so like a training setup. And then at the second half of the video, I get an article and I go and hide it on site, and I ask the dog to go and find it. And it's very interesting. The site one is very interesting to watch. And it's very important in that video about me not, when I think the dog is close to finding the article, me not doing the extra 25%. I think a lot of stuff in security dog handling, especially when it's your own dog, I think I do say this in the video, when it's security dog handling and it's your own dog, when you want the dog to succeed so much, I think it's very easy for you to do the last 25% of the job when in theory, if I didn't know where the article was, I wouldn't be able to do the last 25% of the job. So the article search video tomorrow is very interesting, about watching the dog and letting the dog fail in order for the dog to succeed. In the video, I actually let the dog fail lots of times in order to get the end result that I wanted. So I think it's quite important to do that. So yeah, that will be tomorrow's video, the article search video. Towering Doc, what are the laws in the UK regarding having dog handlers patrol what could technically be public property, like neighbourhood sidewalks, parks, etc.? Would you be granted police authority? So no is the short answer to that. So in terms of the laws of the UK regarding having dog handlers patrol what could technically be public property, so the video in a few weeks' time it's not public property, it's private land, but it is a public area. So I still have to have all my signs up. You still have to have all your signs up to warn people of the dog being on site. So that needs to be in all entrances and egresses. So you need to have signs up notifying people that you are there. You'd obviously need to have like your high vis so people can identify you as the security dog handler. In terms of like neighbourhoods, sidewalks, parks, etc., I think unless you get special permission, you will never get the same cover the police authority get, because the reason that you have police dog handlers and security dog handlers is they're two different things. Dogs are trained to different levels, which is why you will see police dogs worked off lead. You won't see security dog handlers working dogs off lead. You still have to abide by the Dangerous Dogs Act, the Guard Dogs Act. It's basically if you're working a neighbourhood and sidewalks and parks, you have exactly the same kind of authority in terms of you can question people, things like that, but you obviously can't stop people from filming. If people want to come up to you and start filming, let's take sort of a festival entrance as a good example. Now, I watched an auditor the other day, an auditor video the other day, basically just going around the kind of the entrances to a festival, and in that you can go up and question what someone is doing, but you can't necessarily stop them from filming. So if I was working in a park and someone decided to come up and just start filming me, there's no way I could ask them to stop, and the police can't ask you to do it either. Like I say, it's in terms of law, you still have to abide by the Dangerous Dogs Act, the Guard Dogs Act. You need to run alongside your insurance as well. So you need to make sure that everything that is in your insurance cover, that you're doing that as well. But no, you'll never get granted the same. You'll never get granted the same level of protection as the police do in terms of being able to work your dog off lead, etc. I mean, I've always thought about this is that this is a massive hypothetical. This is a massive hypothetical situation, but this is like top end. Now, you're in London in a park, and you're just out for the day with your dog, and you've gone to a park, and all of a sudden there is some form of attack where there is someone going round. It happened. I believe it happened in Wimbledon. Was it Wimbledon or Reading that someone went into the park and just started stabbing loads of random people in the park? They just went to the park and basically attacked people in the park. I think maybe 2 people were stabbed to death, but there was a good 5 to 8 people, I believe, that got injured. And then he was shot by the police. Now, this is a massive hypothetical situation that I've put myself in. And I feel like this is possibly the only time that you will maybe get the backing or a pardon off of the police, is that if you was in London or a park and someone came in and started stabbing people, if you unclipped your dog and sent your dog in to deal with that person with the knife, if you felt like it was a life or death situation, that is possibly the only time that you may get pardoned by the police, or people would see your actions as a good use of force. But all in saying that, you need to make sure that that dog targets that one person. If let's say there is some form of attack and there's someone stabbing people in parks, if you get your dog, send it to go and deal with that person, and someone runs across the dog halfway through and the dog nails that person, then you are going to be prosecuted for that. Now, I don't know the law. I don't know the law well enough in terms of police dogs, but I think if police dogs are sent to if the police dogs are sent in to deal with someone and someone is hit in the crossfire, I don't believe them dogs will ever be put down. Now, if I sent my dog into to deal with someone off lead, and it caught someone in a crossfire, there's a good chance that your dog is going to be put down. There's a good chance that you're going to be prosecuted for GBH, etc. But I think something like a life or death situation, like I said, with the park and the stabbings, and you sending your dog in order to preserve life, is possibly the only time that you're ever going to get a pardon off of the police or off of the court. But again, you need to make sure that your dog only hits that person, that your dog then doesn't hit an innocent person and stop someone from escaping. I mean, can you imagine if you sent your dog in to deal with that person, someone run across the dog in the crossfire, the dog goes on and nails the person in the crossfire, and then the person attacks the person that was hit by the dog. Now you stopped that person from escaping, your dog's bit them, they're now being attacked by the person that's been attacking people, and you could probably find yourself up on possibly a manslaughter charge. So yeah, never assume that if you are working in a public place, you are going to be granted like a police authority kind of backing. It's never going to happen because we are not seen. Funny enough, we was talking about this in training today. We are not seen as our own sector. So yes, you have like a security dog handling industry, but under SIA, we are just known as security guards. So it's no different. We're no different to security guards. We just have dog handling capabilities. So to the police, we are just seen as security guards. So, like I say, you're never going to get this. They're never going to give a security guard a police authority. So therefore, a security dog handler is never going to get police dog handler authority. Well, let me just shut this door. So I hope that answers that question and sort of covers that. But in terms of working your dog in a public area, you'll still need to work alongside your insurance, the Dangerous Dogs Act, the Guard Dogs Act, the Control of Dogs Act. If you are new to this, there is a link in the description to a Discord. The Discord is like a WhatsApp group that you don't have to put your phone number out to. But in that, there's loads of different threads, and in the threads down at the bottom there is the law, and in there I believe I've got all the main ones: the Guard Dogs Act, Control of Dogs Act, Dangerous Dogs Act, and in there is links to the government websites in order to be able to see what all them acts are and what you have to work to. So if you are new around here and you want to fancy getting involved in the Discord is a little bit like these lives, but you can ask a question at any time of day. Because if you have a question at 3:00 in the morning on a Tuesday and you ask it in there, I'm going to be working, therefore I'm going to be awake and I can answer it there and then. So you don't need to wait for the next live in order to ask questions. So if you are interested in the Discord, there is a link that you can go there. Like I say, at the bottom in the threads is a law one where you can see Dangerous Dogs Act, Guard Dogs Act, Control of Dogs Act, and it also gives you the years as well. So yeah, in terms of all that sort of stuff, you obviously need to abide by all that, and not ever think that you're going to have the same rights as a police dog handler. So where have I got to? So I'll just explain like the article search one. The one after that is protection. So in a couple of Saturdays time, so not this Saturday, the Saturday after, there is going to be like a protection video, and it's a protection video where my dog messes up, and I think it's important to show that side of training as well as all the good sides. Now, I always, in my training footage, I never cut bits out, or I never cut bits where the dog messes up. If the dog messes up, I always put it in. So in a couple of Saturdays' time, there is a video where my dog messes up doing protection, and I kind of explain why I think that happened. And he wasn't the only dog that messed up. Now, I don't have footage of the other handlers because there are handlers that don't want to be on YouTube. There are handlers that don't want their stuff out online. So I have to be very careful when I am at training that I don't catch other people's dogs or them doing training if they don't want to be on it. But yeah, my dog messes up. And the second half of that video, the on-site part that I've done, is something that's really basic, or something that everyone possibly takes for granted, is that it is just how to hold a lead. And it is about how to do safe lead. It is about how to do patrol lead, stroke protection lead. And there is my variation of it. And the reason that I have done that is because I've seen people with NASDO certificates. I've seen people with online that are maybe posting up pictures or videos of them at training. And the one thing I always look for is their grip on their lead, or their hold on the lead. I think you can tell a lot about a handler by the way in which they hold a lead. And I've seen so many bad grips or holds of leads through the 18 months that I've been a qualified security dog handler. And even so it's more or less 2 years since I started doing my training with the dog. And I've seen people turn up as one-offs with NASDO certificates in order just to get assessed by my trainer. And I've seen them turn up with the worst grips. The trainer tried to explain how to hold a lead and them not being able to get their head around how to hold it. So the second half of that protection video is about safe lead and about patrol lead and my variation of it, because a little bit like driving your driving test is that NASDO or the trainers will have safe lead and protection lead, and they'll say, look, this is how you hold it. And for all intents and purposes, whilst you're being assessed the same way as when you are doing your driving test, you will have your hands at 10 and 2. But once you have passed, or once you have settled into the industry, you may want to change the way in which you patrol. But everything that you do with security dog handling, if you go away from maybe the British standard, or maybe away from the way in which NASDO want you to do it, you need to be able to validate the way in which you do it. And the way in which I patrol and I hold my lead is validated because it is the same as a protection and a safe lead hold. It's just all in one. So the second half of that video is just me teaching people how to hold a lead. And even if one person learns how to hold a lead, even if one person that is thinking about getting in security dog handling turns up to their first session and the trainer says, can you show me safe lead? And they go, wallop, here it is. Because when I turned up to security dog handling training for the first time, they said to me, right, do you know what safe lead is? No, this is safe lead. Day one, first thing we done, before I'd even done any obedience with my dog, they said, right, this is safe lead. This is how you hold the lead. Don't hold it any other way. Because I was doing probably the same as probably most pet owners. So I had my hand holding onto the loop, and then I'd wrap it around my hand and then hold onto that. That is not how you hold a lead. It's in the video, but like I say, even if it teaches one person how to hold a lead properly and do safe lead, or even if it changes someone from the way they're holding their lead in protection to doing it a better way, and maybe a way that's not going to slip out, or the lead is not going to get pulled out of their grasp, the video is worth it. So like I say, that protection video is half my dog messing up in protection and why that possibly happened. And the second half of it is just how to hold a lead and the way in which I was taught to do it. I know there are variations, and there may be people that jump on that video and say, that's not how I hold it. I was taught to hold it this way. I'm not saying this is the only way you know how to hold it. What I'm saying is the way in which I was taught and the way in which I hold the lead, I believe is one of the safest ways to do it. And if you are not using a variation of what I do, you may want to try it and you may find it better, especially with the protection, because I see a lot of people having to use two hands and an unnatural stance in order to counter the dog's pulling forwards. And I can, even in my 10 stone body, which is obviously very light with a 40-kilo dog, I can do protection under control with one hand using the grip that I use, because I know that the lead is not going to get pulled out of my hand. I know that there is more chance of me being pulled onto my face than the lead coming out of my hand. So, like I say, I think it's decent just for people to learn how to hold a lead. And like I say, it'll be sucking eggs to a lot of people. But for some people out there, it'll be a light bulb moment, and they will learn how to hold a lead. They'll be able to turn up to their first training session on their first day of their NASDO and know what safe lead is, know how to hold a lead for protection work, and be able to question a trainer if they ask them to hold it differently. Now, I'm not saying that if another trainer asks them to hold them differently, I'm not saying that that's going to be wrong, but they can say, this is how I hold it. Is there a reason why you want me to hold it this other way? And they may say, I want you to hold it like this because of such and such. But like I say, I think it's a good demonstration in that. And then the third video, which I've been speaking about a little bit just a minute ago, is the one-off video. And like I say, I got to spend a one-off shift, a one-night shift somewhere else, which was very different. And I kind of just take you through the shift. Not loads and loads of it because it was pitch black there, and obviously the camera doesn't work whilst it's absolutely pitch black. But I'll take you through the main parts of it, and I'll take you through the kind of explain through like the start of the shift about having to put signs up, etc. Looked after a couple of really cool things, and in that video again, I said earlier about the Queen's Guard, or like the Queen, about having a list. And I think it's been quite cool to be able to add these two items onto my list of things I've looked after. So if people ask me, like, what have you looked after? If I always say, like building sites or like abandoned buildings, to be able to say I looked after a race car, I looked after a castle, like that, to that maybe brings a little bit of glam to the actual job. And like I say, there are plenty of times, I'll say in the video, there's plenty of times that you're going to be on crap sites where it's pissing down with rain, mud up to your shins, and you're going to be thinking, like, why am I doing this? And then there'll be days like this one where you'll have a really nice venue for a one-off shift. It'll be a nice, easy, cushy little job, and you'll be able to just really appreciate the nice side of security dog handling. So yeah, then the next three videos: article search, protection, stroke how to hold a lead, and the one-off video, which is a shift video that I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing what people have to say about it, and the other two videos as well. There are, so in the last sort of couple of weeks or so, I got over 500 subscribers, and getting over 500 subscribers kind of changed the way in which I can operate in terms of connecting with you guys. And one of them ways is that I can put posts and polls out. Now, what I've tried to do is maybe put some polls out in order to get some information off you guys of the kind of videos that you want, the length of videos that you want. But also I've put some polls out there to kind of gauge maybe the general consensus of people. Now, I understand that there's not lots of, I understand that the amount of people voting on this is quite is quite small in compared to the amount of subscribers I've got. So this is like when I say about the results of this is not everyone. This is the sample size of the people that are voting, and I think this is going to be quite beneficial to do. And I think these polls is going to be a decent way of discussing. So if I just run you maybe through a couple of them, and I've tried to do these sort of Monday to Friday when there's not a video out as just a way of connecting with you guys, maybe starting up some form of conversation, even if it's not in the comments of the poll, even if it's maybe with another dog handler that you work with or whatever. So I done one that was like, why do you watch my videos? Are you a dog handler? Are you in the dog world? Are you an aspiring handler? And that for me was to kind of try and find out the people that are voting on this. Who am I trying to aim my channel at? And I've thought for a long time now that I am aiming it more at aspiring handlers. And 53% of the people that voted in that were aspiring handlers. So I am aiming my videos at the right amount of people, or the audience that I think I'm meant to be. I did put other, and 11% was described themselves as an other. So I'm not sure what other means. Hopefully that doesn't mean criminal trying to get information, because I've always said that I'll always give out as much information as I can without putting any handlers at risk. Now there will probably be criminals that are watching this video trying to get information in order to use against security dog handlers. Let me assure you that I never give out enough information to put handlers at risk. And I think that's a very important part of doing this as well, is that I only put out the information that I'm comfortable with, that I don't feel like I'm putting any handlers in trouble. And as far as I'm aware, nothing has ever come of my videos where someone has got a tip in order to use against a handler. That's never happened. So the ideal video length, I've kind of been aiming my videos between 10 and 15 minutes, because I think once you get maybe over 15 minutes, unless it is a properly engaging video, I feel like people lose a bit of interest. So I've kind of aimed my videos between 10 and 15. Sometimes they go a bit longer, maybe, but I mean, the biggest consensus is that people wanted 20+ minute videos. But from what I've seen from like the analytics and that, very few people get to the end of a 15-minute video, let alone a 20+ minute video. And I think, especially with like a 20-minute+ video, I think maybe the message can be a little bit lost in that. I think that with these lives as well, sometimes the message can get a bit lost. So I'm sure if anyone that's been watching this from the start probably can't remember what I said 20 minutes ago, or they can't remember what I said at the start of this video. So I think being able to keep them a little bit shorter and a little bit sweeter maybe gets the message over a little bit better, and maybe people remember the message a little bit better. So I probably will still aim at 10 to 15 minutes. I mean, still 29% wanted 10 to 15 minutes. So I think I will still kind of aim for that 10 to 15 minute sweet spot. There may be videos that go longer than that if something kind of happens. There may be ones that are shorter than that may be more educational, because I think if you're doing educational videos, you want to be to the point and maybe be very sharp on the actual point. So blabbering on about something for too long can maybe lose the educational side of it. But yeah, like I say, there are. I normally put one up Monday to Friday when there isn't a video, just to get people talking, just to find out what people are interested in. There was an interesting one I put out the other day. I said, what's the biggest problem in security dog handling? And I put handlers, trainers, the law, governing bodies, and other. And the biggest percentage on that, with 48% of the votes of 25 people. So what's that? Maybe 11, 12 people. said that the law is the biggest problem in security dog handling. Now, whether people agree with that or not, that's the consensus of this poll. And I'm not saying that this is absolute fact. I'm not saying that this speaks for the security dog handling industry, but of the 25 people that voted, just under half of them believed that the law was the biggest problem with security dog handling. And yes, I can see some of that side. No, I can't see some of that side. I think the law has to be there for boundaries, but I do believe that the law for security dog handlers is very sketchy, and I do believe it is there to try and to give a boundary to what a security dog handler can do, but they don't want to tell you what you can do, just in case that you do something that they tell you can and something bad happens. They still want to be able to prosecute you. So yes, I can see where half the people say that the law is a problem with security dog handling, or the biggest problem with security dog handling, because it is so vague and so sketchy that maybe handlers are scared to do certain things. So yeah, I can see why people say that. But yeah, like I say, these are just polls that I put out just to get the conversation going, and there will be posts as well. I put a post out the other day just explaining what videos are coming up in July, because I managed to get ahead of the game and I've kind of planned all the videos for July. I just put a post up so you guys can look at that post and say, okay, we're on the 2nd of July is going to be art search, 9th is going to be the protection video. So you can kind of see what's coming up as well. So yeah, like I say, the post and the polls, I feel like have been good. If you see a poll and you feel like you want to put a vote in, I can't see what you say. It is anonymous. I can't see what you vote for, so I would never hold it against you. I'd never hold it against you what you voted for, because I'd never know. So if you see a poll and you fancy having your say, I feel like it would be important, even if you are an aspiring handler, or if you're a handler with 20 years, your opinion or your perception, I think is vital. In terms of like the one with the biggest problem with security dog handling, it's interesting to see what an aspiring handler's view of the problem is compared to the view of a handler that's got 20 years plus experience. And if you feel like you want to comment in there and make yourself known to what you voted for, if you feel like you want to do that, then you can. Obviously, with polls, it's opinion based, and maybe you can get a counter of different opinions. But I feel like we've got a decent enough following that we understand that everyone has a view for their opinion, and I think that's important. That in them polls, if people do write their opinions to why they believe the law is the biggest problem in security dog handling, I feel like you need to. You can ask, you can have a discussion about it, but like have an adult, educated discussion about it. Don't make it into a no, I believe this, therefore you're wrong. I don't feel like that's the best way to go. I feel like we're all old enough, ugly enough that we can have a proper conversation, an educated conversation, and if someone wants to say that they feel like the law is the biggest problem, someone that feels like the handlers are the biggest problem, you can have an educated conversation about that, and no one needs to fall out over it. No one needs to try and be the bigger person or try and bully their way to try and convince someone that it is the other way. I feel online with security dog handling and probably dog footage in general is that people want to be so hysterical and want to build up hysteria on their side that people back down and just accept that what that person says is correct. But I feel like our community that we've built is big enough, ugly enough to have a discussion about it rather than just having a disagreement and it becoming very passive aggressive. I did see something the other day on a Facebook security dog handling Facebook page, and it was the most passive aggressive thing I think I've ever seen, to the point where someone's put their opinion out there. Someone wanted to counter their opinion without being confrontational, so it's very passive aggressive, to which the person who posted was originally passively aggressive answered back And if you read the comments, you could probably tell that if these people were in front of each other, it would have been, I'll hit you with my handbag. No, I'll hit you with my handbag. No, I'll hit you with my handbag. No, I'll hit you with my handbag. And I don't feel like it wasn't like an educated conversation. It wasn't a conversation. It was just two people wanting to tell each other to piss off, but doing it in a very passive aggressive way of I'm right, no, I'm right, no, I'm right, no, I'm right. So if you see people putting their opinion down, you by all means have an educated conversation with them and maybe ask why they feel like it, but never shoot someone down for having an opinion. No one really shoots me down for having an opinion. Occasionally I do get shot down for having an opinion on stuff, but I feel like I put my opinion out there, and I'm very rarely aggressively confronted about my opinion on certain stuff. So occasionally it does happen. People will occasionally be a bit hysterical about my opinions on stuff, but I think for the large part, people have been level-headed and educated enough to say, okay, well, that's your opinion, this is my opinion. We both seem to have got to the same standard, or we both seem to have a decent knowledge of the industry. Therefore, however we got to this point, it's worked. Therefore, we don't need to fall out about it, and we don't need to be enemies in the same operation. Because at the end of the day, with security dog handling, as much as you want to see it as the good handlers against the bad handlers, against the average handlers, against the people with loads of experience, against people with little experience, at the end of the day, we are all fighting the same battle, the same way that the police are fighting the same battle against criminals. We are, as security dog handling as an industry, we are all fighting the same battle against keeping sites safe, making sure that we keep ourselves in check, making sure that we're doing it all the right way. I don't feel like there are many handlers, and I say many because I don't want to say all. I'm sure there are many, many handlers out there that never do anything that they feel is wrong. It may turn out to not be the best thing, but I don't believe there are many handlers out there that purposely go out to do the wrong thing. I feel like the decisions that they make are always, to them, the right decision at the time. It may be an uneducated decision that may be wrong, but that comes back to education. And sometimes it's not about absolutely butchering someone for making a bad decision. It's about educating them to what the right decision is. If I'm at training, and like this is very low key. This is very low key, but it's kind of what I'm talking about. So today we was trying to do an article search find, but a different one. With article searches training, we normally look for small items in a contained area, and they say, right, there's 4 items out there, they're small, send the dog out to go and find it. And that's pretty much how our training's been. And today they put a backpack out there, which is obviously much larger than a wallet and a phone. And it was an article search where you send the dog off to go and find the article. And will your dog notify you on a large item that has lots of scent compared to what he's used to finding, which is a small item which he could lay down and say, right, this is an article. And I went out and I found it to a certain degree. They had to tell me I'd gone too far, but then if you was doing an article search find, you would normally ask for like a general area, and I didn't ask for a general area. Therefore, I went a bit too far, and they said, don't go any further. It's between where you started and where you are now. So, but in the end, the dog circled back on itself and it found the article. And once we got into the right position with the wind, therefore we found the article. Now, they could have crucified me because I didn't take the right route in order to get there. Because if I had taken a different route, the wind would have hit the article and I possibly could have found the article quicker. Now, they could have absolutely crucified me to, you know about this. And I said, I know about that. But in that situation, I made this decision to go there. They could have crucified me and said, you don't know what you're doing, etc. But the truth of the matter is I did know what I should have done under the circumstances and the pressure of a training situation of, I want the dog to find this article. I stopped thinking about my procedures of using the wind, the way in which you would do article search. So, like I say, in terms of people doing security dog handling, they at the time they make a decision based on the situation that they're in, and sometimes the pressure of the situation can possibly make them make the wrong decision. But it doesn't mean that we should crucify them for that. As long as no one gets hurt, you shouldn't crucify people for that. You should just re-educate them, and that's what my trainer done to me. He didn't crucify me for taking the wrong route and getting it wrong with the wind. He just explained it to me, and it said, "This is what you should have done." And I just turned around to him and said, "Of course, I don't know why I didn't do that. I know that that's what I should have done." So therefore, he just re-educated me to say, look, even when you are in these situations, remember to go back to your basics of thinking, what are my procedures in order to do this? And I think that that's a very important thing, that if you're going to educate someone, it's about taking the time and making sure that they think about what they're actually doing, rather than just hammering them for getting stuff wrong. So yeah, like I say, it's all right to have opinions, and like I say, I think you have to have an educated conversation or an educated. I was going to say something very uneducated. Then I was going to say you need to educate someone with an educated conversation, but you get what I mean. Is that, look, don't crucify people for making a decision that they felt was right at the time. Educate them to make sure that the next time that happens, that they make the right decision rather than a decision that wasn't the best but caused no harm. Oh, that is an hour and 7 minutes. I said at the start of this video that I was going to do kind of like an unbagging and show you guys what I get my dog from the pet store. So I normally spend around about £75 a month on his normal food, so that would be his dry and wet food. And then I normally spend somewhere between maybe £50 and £75 a month on like certain treats. And the reason that I spend that amount, I mean, that sounds like quite a lot. The reason that I spend that amount is that I like to get decent treats for him. I'm not saying all of these are like the absolute prime of a dog's want of a treat, but he earns the money as much as I do. He goes to work every night. Therefore, I feel like he deserves decent treats. He deserves stuff that he likes. So I spend about £75 a month on his dry and wet food, and I'll spend between £50 and £75 on treats. Now, these bags seem to be split up into two different bags. We have the boring treats, the everyday boring treats, and then we have the specialized treats. So I'll run you through the boring treats first. So these are small milky bones, and these are decent for training. As you can see, they're quite small. So if I was going to do some training with my dog, maybe I'll just grab a handful of these, and I would use these for like training. So I always think it's good to have a big bag of these. So they're small milky bones. They are from Great and Small. Now I get this stuff from Pets Corner. There's a garden centre close to me with a Pets Corner, and this is where I get it all from. So that was Great and Small. I also get some meaty rolls with beef. Now they do different ones. So these ones with beef, Some others that I've got in his thing out there is like they do it with salmon, and they're like little burgers with salmon. So I'll normally get one of them. Obviously, they're a bit bigger, so maybe that would be a treat you would get after a patrol. If I went out and done a patrol, I may come back, say, cheers, mate, give him that as a treat for a good patrol. I have these little biscuit bones. So they are a little bit similar to like the Milky Bones. They're obviously a little bit bigger. Maybe I'll snap them in half. If I was doing some training, maybe I would snap them in half and use them as kind of like treats for training or anything like that. But they're a little bit bigger. Maybe if I took the dog out for a walk and then when we come back, I might just get 2 or 3 and just scatter them on the floor as a little treat for him coming out doing a good walk. So yeah, that's them. So they're kind of like training treats / like a mini reward for a good walk. So that's kind of like the boring base treats. So like I say, they're like sort of training, maybe a good patrol treat or a good walk treat. Just say, well done, mate. Like here's something for doing that for me. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to get your dog out, go out, do a patrol, then put him back in the van and then go and sit because he's like, well, was that good? Was that bad? So always after a good patrol or whatever it is, mostly at any time anyway, I'll get the dog out, do a patrol, and then when I put him in the cage or back in the crate, I'll just grab one of them treats, give it to him, and then he knows that the patrol's over. So that kind of turns him off to like the patrol's over now. Now we're gonna sit in the van and relax for a bit. We're gonna get our breath back or whatever. So yeah, that's kind of like the ending to stuff. So at the end of patrol, end of a walk around here. Right now we are getting into the more exciting stuff. So I haven't tried these before. So these are Buffalo natural dog treats, and these are wraps. So this might be maybe an end of the day kind of treat. Maybe it'll get to maybe 10 o'clock and we're going to go to bed. Maybe I'll give him something like this, maybe earlier in the day, but just something to kind of close the day out as maybe a treat. Maybe it'll be something like this afternoon. Maybe I'll give him one of these because we've been at work all week. We've done training today, and I'll just give him something like this, just to say, right, that's the end of the week, mate. We haven't got work for a few days. Well done, good week. You've done a good job. So yeah, these for 3 of these, it was $5.99. So yeah, I haven't tried these yet, but they look like something my dog's going to like. I'll quickly these three boring everyday treats. I think I get 3 bags for about £12.50. So they're not overly expensive, and with the amount that's there for £12.50, that'll cover me for quite a long time. So yeah, them buffalo wraps were £6 for 3. So they're obviously per treat, they're quite expensive, but like I say, they're not. I'm not giving him one every day. I'm actually going to save that one till later. I'm not giving him one every day. They're just kind of maybe the end of the week kind of thing. I got these sausages. These are quite expensive for some reason. I've got a feeling this is about £20 for this. But again, I cut these up into small pieces so they last a long time. I wouldn't give the dog just one of these sausages at a time because they won't last a month. I normally cut them up into maybe 4s or 5s. So you actually get quite a lot. Although it's £20, and I think that's a bit expensive for what it is, you actually get a whole month's worth out of it, maybe even a little bit more. Like I say, I normally cut each sausage up into about 4 or 5 pieces. And as you can imagine, with the amount of sausages in there, you do get quite a lot of individual treats out of it. And again, sometimes this sausage is good to use for kind of like article search training. Maybe at home, maybe I'll just go and hide some treats. The sausage is good because the dog really wants to eat the sausage, so he will work and search and use his nose correctly. So yeah, normally like I say, I'll cut them up into about 4 or 5 bits and I can get a good month out of them. again, these are getting into the treats when I first started getting them. The girlfriend or fiance was absolutely disgusted, but the dog loves them. And again, this is something that the dog loves, and it is again maybe an end of day. Maybe I'll give him one of these just before I go to bed. I'll say so. We'll go out for our last walk of the evening, and then I'll come back, give him one. Give him one. I did not say that. I'll go out, do the walk, come back, give him one of these pig ear strips. Then he knows, right, he's going off to bed. I need to go and chill out because he's going off to sleep. So again, these pig ear strips. I used to get the pig ears, like the quite big ones. And looking down there today, like for 10 pig ears, it was 18 quid, which I thought was quite expensive. Where these pig ear strips are the same thing but broken down, and this was like £13.50. But again, I don't know how many's in there. What, 30, 40? Like, I'm going to get a month's worth out of that with the pig ears. If I give him one a day, I'm done in 10 days. So, like I say, this is like an end of the day treat that I'll give him to say, like, I'm going to bed now. You need to chill out. Right, it's the end of the day. Well done. So, yeah, pig ear strips. That was about 30, I think it was about 13 quid, 13.5 quid or something. But yeah, something else that he likes. And like I say, the first time I got these, the girlfriend was like, "What the hell are you bringing into this house?" And the last one, the piece de resistance, the thing that when I first brought it into the house, the girlfriend went absolutely ballistic, and I can see why. And that is natural rabbit ears. Now, I only got these. These are 7 quid. How many's in it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there's 7 in there. So these are 7. These are £7. I got these for the first time last month or the month before. The rabbit ears with the fur on them. The girlfriend went absolutely mental. She was like, why are you bringing dead rabbit ears into the flat? But the dog absolutely loves them. And again, I'll use them the same as maybe the pig strips. It might be like I'll just give him one of these before I go to bed. And it's kind of like the switch off to the end of the day. Like, we're all done. Like, I'm going to bed now. Here's a rabbit's ear. So yeah, it might be like but I'll probably switch between a pig ear strip and a bunny ear. Maybe I'll give him one of these maybe once, twice a week. I'm not going to give it to him every night. So yeah, like I say, they're 7 quid. And like I say, they're just something a little bit different, something the dog likes, and something to distinguish when the dog has just done something decent to good week or like the end of the day kind of thing. When the dog has gone through a whole week's work, he's done training today. If I give him a couple of Milky Bones at the end of the week, like, the dog doesn't know, but if I spent a whole week at work, went training, and then I sat down at the end of the day, and my girlfriend gave me a biscuit as my treat for that week, I'll be like, well, what the fuck? What? So I just swore live. I went to swear live. Then I'll say, what the hell is that? I deserve something better than a biscuit for the week's work I've just put in. And something like a rabbit's ear or a pig ear strip or one of these buffalo wraps is a nice way to thank your dog for a good week, especially if he's kept you safe and things like that. So, guys, I think that is the end of the live. That is coming up to 1 hour and 20 minutes. I felt that was a decent live. Maybe not as much interaction in the chat as normally does happen. I know that people struggle to maybe get here on a Friday. Maybe they're doing certain things. Obviously, the weather's turning nice now. Maybe not as much chat in the chat as I'm used to, but I feel like that was a decent live. I feel like I got some decent information over to you guys. I hope you enjoy it. If you're watching this back afterwards, because obviously once this stream ends, I always leave them up so you can watch it later if you want to watch the whole episode. If you've got anything to say on this episode, put it down in the comments section below. And yeah, if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for loads more videos, for all my Saturday videos. And obviously, when I put a live up, I normally maybe a day or two before I will post up, so you can set a reminder for yourself so you don't get to miss it. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you have had a good week. Hope you enjoy your weekend. This is me signing out. I'm absolutely knackered. Cheers, guys. Cheers for watching. See you later.